Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chip Over the Top Rugby podcast. My name is Ryan. If you are new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Before we get into it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up for me and hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. So, we've got a little bit to cover today. Obviously, the Wales v Barbar game is happening in roughly, I was going to look at my watch, but I don't have my watch on. Kickoff is at 2:30 tomorrow, Saturday, November 4th. And yeah, interestingly, I just realized, in fact, I just realized earlier on today, I realized that the time change has happened already in the UK. So there's a 4-hour time difference. I thought it was 5, but the clocks go back here in America on Sunday, which will take it back to 5. But I forgot from living here now that the UK goes back first and then the US. So I do have to, I don't have to get up an hour earlier than I thought, which is happy days. Means I can watch the game at a good normal time, probably while I'm having a flat white and a sausage sandwich. But anyway, the Wales v Barbars team has been announced. And I did obviously put up a sort of list of the team that I thought it was going to be in the previous video that I did. So you can check that out here, but there's no point really because I'm going to tell you right now what the squad is. So Wales, before I get into the squad announcements, interesting sort of, it's had a little bit of sort of controversy surrounding the topic of this game, namely because of the clash with the Welsh derby between Scarlets and Cardiff. But like I said, it's a good opportunity for people at the regions to step up anyway, and also a good opportunity for people entering the Welsh fold to put their name up ready for the Six Nations as well. So, like I said, the Wales squad's been announced, the Barbarian squad's been announced. So let's dive in very, very quickly. Starting with Wales, starting with the front row, he's got Corey Domachowski here, Dewi Lake and Lloyd Fairbrother. Interestingly, no Leon Brown or Kieran Azarati. They did pick up some injuries, so that is why they are not featured, which is kind of a bit frustrating because they were practicing for Wales, they were training for Wales, but obviously if they go back to the regions, they're not going to be quite 100% as well, so there's going to be a little bit of leeway. But I was having a little bit of think, and I'm going to come back to this in a second, but just like how the regions and Wales can support each other in sort of a training modality fashion, but I'll touch upon that in a second. So yeah, Corey Domachowski, Dewi Lake, Lloyd Fairbrother being called up. Interestingly, he's an elder. He's kind of like a Henry Thomas in terms of age and scrummaging prowess. Maybe not as good as Henry Thomas, but we'll see against the Barbarians. In the second row, Ben Carter, Adam Beard, and then Dan Lydiard, Jack Morgan and Aaron Wainwright. And then replacements, we've got, not replacements, the backs. He's gone with Thomas Williams, Sam Costello, half-pack pairing, and then Rio Dyer, Johnny Williams, George North, Tom Rogers, and Lee Halfpenny. So some consistency, kind of, in terms of Jack Morgan, Aaron Wainwright. Obviously, Thomas Williams, Sam Costello have played with each other, played together in the World Cup. And then obviously, we still have some players from the World Cup squad involved. Rio Dyer, Johnny Williams, George North as well. And yeah, interestingly, obviously, Nick Tompkins, obviously the Welsh contingent of players outside of Wales not available that I saw online. There was a lot of people asking where Will Rowlands was and stuff like that, but obviously forgetting that this game itself was outside of the international window, so the players from France, England, and further afield aren't available for this game. So yeah, it's a good little mix. I'm interested to see obviously what Johnny Williams and George North does as a 12-13 partnership. I don't think they've combined. So it'll be interesting to see, especially obviously George North announcing that he is not yet ready to give up Test rugby, and obviously having Johnny Williams inside of George North at 12 instead of Nick Tompkins. hopefully George North can teach him a thing or two. Not that he needs it, but just to get that partnership correct, because obviously Nick Tompkins and George North were a fantastic centre partnership in the World Cup. Let me know your thoughts on that as well. Interesting to see Tom Rogers on the wing. I was kind of hoping that he would fill in at 15. But obviously Lee Halfpenny's final international game here before he heads off to the Crusaders, which got announced as well this week. So good for him to just finish up in the Welsh jersey. I would have liked maybe to see Tom Rogers at 15, because obviously going into the Six Nations, there is going to be that 10-15 kind of like, okay, who's coming through, who's next scenario. Replacements for Wales: Elliot Dee, Nicky Smith, Harry O'Connor, Teddy Williams, Tane Plumtree, Kieran Hardy, Kai Evans, and Mason Grady. I was curious whether Mason Grady would start, but obviously he's gone with Johnny Williams and George North, so Mason Grady there to cover sort of the centres and the wings. Obviously, he's got Kai Evans, who's a utility player who can cover 10 and 15. But fingers crossed, Sam Costello can play a full game and play well as well. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be good. I'm interested to see what this Welsh squad can do against this Barbarians team. Speaking of which, they have got a very good squad here. Obviously, the Barbarians always have a good squad, especially of this nature too, especially, you know, obviously it's Alan Wynn's sort of swan song. He is captaining the team, and then Justin Tipperick obviously got called up as well, so happy days for them too, playing together on against Wales, interestingly. Ilyasa, if I butcher any of these names, I do apologise. Barbarians, so the Barbarians have picked a very good squad here. Yeah, it's quite good. So we have Joe Modi from New Zealand, Tavita Ikanavia from Fiji, Taniela Tupou, Rob Leota will partner alongside Alan Wynne, Jones of Wales, who's captain, Justin Tipperick, Michael Hooper, and Rob Valentini. That's a very good 6-7 combo between Tipperick and Hooper there. They are world-class players. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be good for Jack Morgan to go up against that sort of competition, you know. And then in their backs, they've got Kuravoli, Nicolas Sanchez at 10, Ravuto Momada on the wing, Isaiah Parisi, Len Ikitau in the centre partnership, Sean Stevenson is on the other wing, and Droasisi at fullback. Replacements for the Barbars, we have Angus Bell, Asafa Omoa, Penny Ravai, Api Ratuniarawa, I hope I pronounced that right, Tom Hooper, Bazan Velez from Argentina, Ben Donaldson, who played well in the World Cup, sort of, and Andrew Kellaway. So, Wales v the Barbarians, that is the squads. I'm looking forward to watching this game. It's always a fun game. But interestingly, obviously, a lot of controversy surrounding this game. And the reason being is that it was clashing with a URC Welsh derby between Scarlets and Cardiff. Before we get into that, though, the Ospreys played the Sharks away from home, even though it was considered a home game for the Ospreys. They played at the Stoop, which is the Harlequins' home ground in England. So, interestingly, it was a good game. Ospreys did win that, and I was able to catch glimpses of it. But yeah, they had a couple of players coming in. Toby Fricker making his first start for the Ospreys. Luke Morgan on one wing, Jack Walsh starting at fullback. And I'll just run through the squad, even though you've probably seen the result already. Jack Walsh, Luke Morgan, Kieran Williams, Owen Watkins, Toby Fricker, Owen Williams, Ruben Morgan-Williams, Garen, a lot of Williams in the Ospreys squad. Front row, Garen Phillips, Ethan Lewis, Tom Botha, locks, Rhys Davis, James Fender, back row, James Ratty, Harry Deeves, and Morgan Morris captaining the squad. Off the bench, Lewis Lloyd, Rhys Henry, Ben Warren, Lewis Jones, Morgan Morse, Luke Davis, Max Nagy, who obviously picked up a try in that game with a little bit of a breakaway, and Luke Scully. It was actually a good game to watch. Ospreys did come away with the win, 19 points to 5, almost getting a bonus point, or at least that they were trying to push for the bonus point towards the end, but didn't happen. So yeah, good game to watch. Excited to then see, what this Ospreys team can go on to do. They are, I think, favourites to sort of win the URC for Wales, not the actual overall, but to top the group as of the Welsh contingents. But anyway, moving over to the derby that everybody is causing controversy surrounding it because of, obviously, you want the Welsh Region rugby game to grow stronger, but then you put on an international fixture the exact same day. So therefore, you have to pick and choose. Kind of disappointing that that is how the outcome has come, but it is what it is. Time to move on from it and just enjoy the full day of rugby. So there's a couple of people online who were saying, disappointing that the game's on and that these players aren't available, but I've already touched upon it, and so have many other people. Like, if Wales were in the World Cup, if they made the semi-finals, for example, right, they would automatically be in the last weekend in that third place game. So those international players would not have been available for the regions anyway, because that is like a week turnaround. That's just too much rugby, intense international rugby, to then go on and play for the regions. Maybe miraculously one or two could have been available for the regions, but I don't think it would have made that much difference. So running through the Scarlets Cardiff game, let's start with Cardiff. Interesting squad for Cardiff. Rhys Carey, Liam Belcher as captain, Rhys Litterick, Shane Lewis-Hughes and Seb Davis making up the locks. Alex Mann, Thomas Young and Lopeti Timani. Thomas Young obviously coming back from a brief injury, so it'll be good to see what he can do in a Cardiff jersey this season. Obviously, hopefully looking to pick up from where he left off last season. Scrum half, Ellis Bevan, obviously Tynus Debia at 10. On the wing, Theo Cabango, Ben Thomas and Ray Lilo making up 12-13 partnership. Alid Summerhill at 14 and Cam Winnett at 15, who is hoping to make a stamp at 15 for Cardiff. Replacements, Evan Daniel, Rhys Barrett, Will Davis-King, Rory Thornton, Ellis Jenkins, Jamie Hill, Max Clark and Harry Millard. For Scarlets, it's a very experienced squad. On paper, they look like they're favourites, to be honest, but we will see. Front row, Kemsley Matthias, Sean Evans, Sam Wainwright. In the locks, Alex Craig, Jack Price. Back row, Ben Williams, Teddy Leatherbarrow and Vea Fafita. Gareth Davis at 9, who will captain. Johan Lloyd at 10, who's the utility back. Steph Evans on the wing. Eddie James and Joe Roberts making up 12-13. Johan Nicholas at 14 and Johnny McNichol, the ever-present fullback, at 15. Replacements for Scarlets, Isaac Young, Steph Thomas, Wyn Jones, Ewan Shenton, Carwyn Tupalotu, Arch Hughes, Charlie Tickham and Jonathan Davis. Not a bad person to bring off the bench, if you ask me. And then finally, we have, obviously, the Dragons are away. They're up in, where are they? Munster. That's going to be fun. But it should be a good game. Starting with the front row again. Rodri Jones, Bradley Roberts, Luke Yendall, Joe Davis, George Knott, Ryan Woodman, James Benjamin and Tane Basham. That is incorrect, because obviously Tane Basham is in the squad. I was thinking for a second Tane Plumtree, but there's Tane Basham as well. I'm losing my mind. It is quite late here, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologise. So yeah, Tane Basham getting back into the Dragons fold. Good for him to be back in the squad. Interestingly, that they picked Dan Lydiate to play for Wales and not Tane Basham, but I can kind of see the rationale behind it. But let's not dive into that at the moment in time. Roger Williams at 9, Will Reid, the under-20s fly half, a big big task for him up against some experience over in Munster, but excited to see what he can do at this level, and hopefully he can just keep progressing, because obviously there is not that much depth at 10 in Wales behind Sam Costello. Ashton Hewitt on the wing, Jack Dixon, Steph Hughes captains from 12, from outside centre, Corey Baldwin on the wing, and Angus O'Brien at 15. I would imagine Angus O'Brien will take up kicking duties, and that will take some sort of pressure off Will Reid. So there we have it. That is the URC roundup. Wales v the Barbarians. Let me know your thoughts. I'm excited to watch this game that is going to kick off in about 8 hours time from when this video has been filmed. It is quite late here, hence some of the confusion on my part. But anyway, just thinking about how the regions and Wales can sort of collectively come together. So in the build-up to this weekend's Barbars games, the Welsh contingent, the Welsh squad, trained alongside the Dragons in the stadium, which I thought was pretty cool, first and foremost. But I was also sort of thinking, how then can we sort of, as a collective group of teams in Wales, support each other? Because obviously there are budget cuts. So I think joint training sessions like this could be beneficial. But also, how about we get, in order to get players up to sort of international standards, I understand that it shouldn't always fall upon the WRU, but it should kind of be a regional thing, but it also should be at a developmental sort of age range as well, that these players coming in to academies, for example, need the best coaching, they need the best sort of physical prowess that they can get their hands on, the technical skills. And it obviously all falls under one, that you all need to be accountable and responsible. But there needs to be a sort of system in place where, okay, all the regions get together, a select few people from each region who are maybe sort of highlighted as like the gifted and talented of the regions who are Welsh eligible, can go to, say, like the Vale and train under the guidance for a week or 2 weeks at a time, under the guidance of the Welsh coaches, to kind of get them up to speed a little bit. I know then you have to figure out how to do that without taking away from the regions and their needs and wants. But in order to get these players up to international standard, obviously there's going to be some difficulties now at the regional game where they have to do it there. So just a thought. Let me know your thoughts on that. Because I would be curious if that is even something that could be done, like have a couple players, for example, like a Welsh A squad, a Welsh B squad, a Welsh C squad, handpicked from the regions. Because I understand that they're trying to do that with the semi-professional league to bridge the gap between amateur and professional, and semi-pro and professional, to get players coming through up to par. But then how do you take them from that to regional to international? Because there is a big step up, obviously, and not everybody's going to have the access and availability to be able to do that. Obviously, if you're not selected for the Six Nations squad, you're not going to have access to that training until maybe the next cycle, or if you're fortunate enough to get on the summer tour, if there is one, you're not going to have access to that. So just a way of sort of bridging the gap a little bit between regional and sort of international, like training camps throughout the year. That would be kind of cool to see something along those lines. And I obviously know that they do have them with the Six Nations, the Summer Series and the Autumn Series, kind of. But I think there needs to be a little bit more, potentially, given the current nature and the situation that Welsh rugby is currently facing. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. Comment below. Thumbs up if you agree with any of that at all. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you're all doing well. I have missed you all. But yeah, thumbs up, subscribe for more. Diolch yn fawr.